A year ago today, I was 240 pounds in a hospital bed recovering from the bariatric gastric sleeve surgery. Now I'm 175 pounds. Hi, my name is Jessica Francis, or more commonly known on the internet as the outsider Jess. Today, I will be talking about my experience with the surgery and what helped me get through the recovery process. I won't be talking about it in depth as I talk about it on my podcast. The link to that will either be in the description below or the comment section. Before I do that, can you do me a favor and slap that like button and click the subscribe button for the YouTube algorithm to help push this video? I usually don't make videos like this as I'm a gaming YouTuber, but it would be stupid of me not to make a video on something that has impacted my life for the better. Not only did it help me, but maybe it could help someone else in the same position. So a year ago, I did a weight loss surgery. I always found it hard to lose weight. I did everything from dieting and exercising to weight loss pills to more diets like Nutrisystem, but nothing seemed to work. Eventually, I would get bored with the food or something would be in the way, preventing me from losing weight. The thing that blocked me the most from losing weight was my own health. I was born with this disease called sickle cell. And sickle cell is an inherited red blood cell disorder in which there aren't enough healthy red blood cells to carry oxygen throughout your body. Normally, the flexible round red blood cells move easily through the blood vessel. And yes, this is a Google search on my own damn illness. I have sickle cell thalassemia. I got the sickle cell trait from my dad and the thalassemia trait from my mom. So I have to stay hydrated so I don't get a sickle cell crisis. There are many other ways that can trigger a crisis for me, but that is a video for another day. The reason why sickle cell is one of the roadblocks for me is because my crises are separated into two categories: hospitalization and mini. Mini crises are crises I can handle at home or at school by taking Tylenol or Motrin around the clock. Hospitalization is when the crisis is too serious for me to handle, so I had to go to the hospital and be hospitalized for 3 days. I will be talking about the more interesting crises on the channel at a later date. But the reason why my sickle cell crisis is such a problem is the fact that I can never continuously exercise when I get a bunch of mini crises year round. Plus, when I got hospitalized for a serious crisis, my mom had this theory I was holding water weight from the IV fluid. As the fluid in the IV bag has a bunch of sodium in it to help replenish the blood. Of course, I believe this theory because growing up, before the sickle cell crisis got worse, I was actually active. So I did dancing, I did swimming, and during that time I played basketball when I was younger. And plus my mom is a nurse. But as I got older, it became harder and harder to not only keep up with the gradual weight gain, but also to work that weight gain off. Another roadblock was my own self-control. My self-control isn't the best, but I don't have an ED. But I was a really bad snacker. If there was a new snack I wanted to try out, I would also want to try out the other snack that very same day. It never go past that same day, but it's not a good thing. I almost forgot to say that I had high insulin and so my body stored fat instead of burning it. I almost forgot about that. I can't believe I almost forgot about that. As for food, I'm a really picky eater. So if there was food I enjoyed, I would take seconds or sometimes third if I really enjoyed it. But more often than not, if I didn't like a food, I will barely eat it and finish it. So I ate a lot of calories growing up and I wasn't able to burn it off. Because as I was too sick to be able to work it off, and when I was able to exercise, I was never able to go harder than last time, as Coach Greg likes to say. And because I had a heart condition, I had a hole in my heart. So every time I pushed myself, I felt a weird feeling in my chest that I still can't describe the feeling of as an adult. Long story short, I hit a fork in the road and I could have driven straight or made a right turn. And I made the right turn. If I had stayed on the path I was going on, let me tell you what could have happened. One, I would have never made a video talking to you guys showing my face. While I don't have an issue with my body when I was 250 pounds, I certainly wasn't happy when I was 250 pounds. I had so many health problems to deal with that just making gaming videos, something I wanted to do, the minute I saw PewDiePie and Alsham Nawal play Bully on my cell phone in 2014, seemed impossible. It seems like a dream far away. And I didn't want to do it for views or the money, but to help the kid just like me who was in the hospital in a lot of pain, and maybe something silly, whatever happened in my game, made them laugh for just 1 second. 2, I would have flunked out of college. Not because I'm not good at school or smart. It's because, 1, I didn't like my classes. In college, they make you take a bunch of useless crap, which is really annoying. But I didn't have the energy to even keep up with my work. So every year, every semester, my GPA got lower and lower. I couldn't keep up in school. I wouldn't be able to hold a normal job because 1, my health is random. I could be fine 1 second, then boom, just a second later, I could get sick. And lastly, I would have threw in the towel. If that happened, I would have eaten myself to an early death and basically confirmed my own fate. I would never get the happiness I need, much less achieve the stuff I wanted to accomplish in life before I die, because I would have given up. But I don't like giving up on things. So I decided that I needed to make some changes. And now that I did, I feel as free as possible. Everything feels limitless. Like, I feel like I accomplished anything I put my mind to now. Now I think it's time for me to stop rambling and finally talk about my thoughts on the surgery. I won't be going in detail about the surgery as I have a podcast dedicated to the whole experience. The link to it will be in the description or the comment section below. This video is to talk about my thoughts before and after surgery and what I thought would happen if it's the best thing to ever happen to me. Before surgery, I was an unhappy 20-year-old, constantly felt like I was dying, and I was just barely surviving. The only reason I was surviving was because I was thinking about my hopes and dreams constantly all the time. When I first heard of the surgery, I was 16. First, I was uninterested. When I first, the cardiologist didn't give me enough information on the surgery, that was strike 1 for the surgery for me, as I had a heart surgery. And to me, no other surgery can be more important than the heart surgery. Strike 2 was that I'm 16. I still feel like I could still lose the weight naturally without getting cut open by a surgeon. Few years go by, I graduate high school, I gained some weight, enter college, lose some weight, gain some more weight, and I finally hit rock bottom. I'm 19 and 250 pounds. I saw my mom get diabetes at around that time, and my brother had diabetes, but it wasn't confirmed. I had a suspicion he had diabetes. And at that point, I knew if I didn't change things up, I would be joining them and get diabetes, and I don't want diabetes. So I told my mom I'm thinking of getting the surgery, and she brought me to the surgeon in Manhattan, and the doctor was amazing. He tells me not only everything I needed to hear to at least understand the procedure, plus he introduced himself to me. Not my mom, but to me. No other doctor has ever done that. So immediately I'm going to be paying attention to whatever this guy has to say now. By the day, after that meeting, I knew I was going to say yes, but of course I had to think about it because it's still a surgery, even though it's not as important to me as the heart surgery. It's still a surgery, and there's still a risk of you dying. But eventually, I say yes. The rest of my 19, the rest of 19 and the beginning of my 20s was a prep for the surgery. On January 30, 2020, I had bariatric gastric sleeve surgery. The very same day Jake Paul knocked out Gibb. I'm not a Jake Paul fan. I'm a fan of Logan, but not Jake. But it was cool to see him in a boxing match from my hospital bed and win. Plus, with how crazy 2020 has been, I lumped those dates together so I don't forget it. I lumped surgery, boxing match. Immediately after surgery, my thoughts were, why the hell did I do this surgery? So the pain was really that bad for me to say that. Because I've been through a lot of pain in my life, but I never really voice it out loud. So whenever I voice things, the pain is very serious. And keep this in mind, I had heart surgery when I was 12, and I didn't feel the effect of the pain until like 2 hours later. Anyway, if you want to learn more about the whole experience, once again, I go in depth about the podcast. The link is down below in the description or the comment section. So I spent 3 days in the hospital and then go home, and that's the start of phase 1. I spent a week on a liquid diet, and I had an absolutely awful time. I could not keep any of the shakes down, so I basically starved. Phase 2 was a little better, but I was a walking, talking mess, and I'm barely functioning as a human. My diet was eating food of the baby food consistency. It tasted okay, but but eventually I was like, ew, when can I have real food? Towards the end. Phase 3 is when my thoughts start to change. I slowly become more functioning as a human being. I'm eating real food. I'm moving around the house more and exercising. I was researching equipment I needed for content creation, looking at clothes I wanted to buy. I started writing again and scripted for my podcast once more, and had overall a more positive outlook on life. Around this time, the panoramic has just started. Shout out to AMP Phantom for that code word for But I also had a plan for phase 3. My plan was to get as much protein in my diet as humanly possible so that my exercise bike handle of a stomach can handle. Then I was going to do it. So I hopped onto YouTube and I started looking at fitness channels. Started with Papa Swolio from Swellnormous and fell down the YouTube wormhole, and until I found Greg Doucette. He had everything I needed with his anabolic cookbook and his anabolic diet. A diet where I could eat waffles and pancake on a diet without any guilt. From Greg, I found Will Tennyson, The Iron Musket, Remington James, Exercise for Cheap Meals, and Mama Swole. Most of these people on the list mix their own anabolic recipe or just make fantastic content. Or they're just flat out entertaining, so check them all out. But because I found them, I became more independent. I started cooking more in the kitchen more often. I'm making protein waffles from scratch from recipes I found online. And I'm looking at equipment to start a home gym or something to occupy my time besides gaming for hours and hours on end. Because I knew the panoramic was gonna last longer than we thought. So I knew I couldn't just be on playing video games all day. And because of that, I felt so happy. On my 21st birthday in September, I told my mom that I'm happy I did the surgery. I called it a boost. Think about it, I called a surgery a boost for weight loss. I know that seems crazy, but ultimately you still have to put in the work if you want the surgery to be a success. That means holding yourself accountable. Notice what food causes weight gain. Don't eat to the point of getting dumping syndrome. No drinking alcohol. Exercise or just being active. Don't eat freaking junk food all the damn time. Stop BSing yourself or it will never stick. Anyway, long rant over. If you're asking me 4 years ago if I will ever see myself skinny, I would have told you no, but that I hope that I do. I literally spent most of my 2020s staring myself in the mirror, seeing myself 65 pounds smaller, and just smiling. I never thought I would one day be small enough to not only fit in a medium shirt, but to wear my first YouTube merch ever. Shout out to Lachlan. Losing the weight felt like the weight of the world was lifted off of my shoulder. My weight made me more depressed than being an introvert worrying about the state of humanity. I'm an introvert, by the way. This surgery was the best thing that could have ever happened to me, but you know that saying, with great power comes great responsibility? The surgery is a great responsibility, and with it, you can get great power, and with that power, you can get great opportunity. With that being said, please don't abuse it. The stomach is an organ and it can stretch back to the original size before surgery, and you can get holes in the stomach. I'm not a doctor or a nurse, but I was raised by one. My mom is a nurse, and she told me this can happen before the surgery. I hope you guys enjoyed it. I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and if it helped you in any way, please leave a like and share this video. This has been the Outsider Jess. I'm out, and see you next year.